Welcome to Harlow Hill Allotments in Harrogate, North Yorkshire. I'm Aaron Hickman, Horticultural Advisor to the National Allotment Society and Head Gardener at Sawley Hall. Allotments have been around for hundreds of years and were initially created to help alleviate poverty, help feed the masses, and also to encourage people to get out working with the land in fresh air, exercise. In times of depression, and certainly in Second World War, the allotment became a fantastic aid for eking out those rations.
Oh, hello.
Hello. These are some lovely looking lettuces.
Yes, I've only just planted them a few weeks ago.
How long have you had the plot, do you say?
Only about 6 weeks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so just...
And have you grown fruit and veg before?
No,
or?
never.
Really?
Never, yeah. Well, every day I meet somebody new and their food growing knowledge is exceptional. I learn something from them every single day about what to plant and how to make it grow.
Allotments can really be seen as an antidote to a lot of the modern day stresses and strains of living in cities and urban areas with really quite lacking green spaces. Certainly the exercise, the gardening brings out great health benefits, and what better still than the rewards of that to take home fresh homegrown produce with no air miles, no pesticides, and that great feeling that knowing that you've grown it yourself.
Green Thumb's come about because of a conversation me and a guy called Tony had on a bus, saying that there was a need for somewhere for people that didn't have gardens. We rent plots off to people for a small amount a year, and they can grow everything: food, flowers, fruit.
I'm Lee. I'm a part of the church, but I started helping out over here and got a plot. I think it's important to come here for me, for my mental health.
We are getting known in this area. We're also getting known all around the country. Nottingham, London, they all know about Green Thumbs in Burnington. We are actually now, we've got quite a lot of a smaller plot all there are for children and grandchildren. So we're bringing all ages in, but we are definitely trying to get the younger ones.
So my name is Deborah. I am the current Mrs. Stockport Atlantic, and I'm really involved within the community, and that's one of my reasons for getting this allotment. I have 2 allotments here. I'm currently growing some strawberries and some rhubarb and then some herbs.
We're all of the same milk, I think. We just come, we talk, put the world to rights, obviously, and grow our plot. But not only that, people help you.
The actual way they're growing in these ICBs, these cut down ICBs, is a wonderful way of creating a pop-up allotment. You don't have to do any deep digging. These can easily be moved if the land is used for something else.
Help yourself. Considering Bridington's supposed to have the worst mental health in the UK, they should have this bigger. It should be bigger. There should be more of it. It's nice.
There are approximately 330,000 different allotment plots in the UK, each one as broad and diverse as the next, encompassing different ethnic groups, gardening techniques, and also methods of cultivation of different crops from across the globe.
And in reality, we know like the most of the food we grow it doesn't come from Britain. You know, many years ago, it probably came here through colonialism, actually. We know that potatoes come from Peru, for example. So we need to reduce the gap between the diversity we have at plots on allotment sites. And I think it's a really good model for how you can have diverse people, and then filter that up to more wider reaching, wider sort of market level farming systems. Like I would say on this site, we're so lucky we do have a diversity of people here because it's such a diverse neighbourhood. And that's another reason why I like coming down here, is because there are people here I wouldn't usually come across in my professional life. It's really important we save these urban green spaces for allotments. I understand there's a lot of pressure to have new builds, and there are quotas for new builds, but I think it's really important for decision makers to realise that These contribute to being the lungs of a city, along with trees and urban green spaces. And so it's so important to keep them safe. And it's not just the environmental credentials, it's the well-being side of it. You know, especially during the pandemic, people would have been lost without these plots if they couldn't be down here. Some people were, maybe were at home on their own. This was the only space where they could really properly chat to people. So it's so important these sites are saved, and for decision makers to realise the benefits they provide not only to the planet but to the wider society as well.
Allotments can also be a fantastic way of encouraging all the family to get involved in the planting and growing process. It's a fantastic way of plotting for the future and getting children out into nature's playground. And what better way than putting a seed in the ground and watching it grow into a vegetable that can be taken home and eaten. It's also a fantastic thing for schools to do, is to have a plot on a local site where they can bring children down on a regular basis and be involved in this fantastic hobby.
Here at Harlow Hill Allotments, we run our own site, which helps us to promote a sense of community. Because we manage our own finances, we can purchase equipment, communal equipment for plot holders to use, things like lawn mowers, hedge trimmers, water butts, all sorts of things. We have an allotment shop and we run a seed scheme. Both of those things help us to raise funds for the association, but they also provide savings for the plot holders. Always a good thing for allotment growers.
The National Allotment Society has been around for nearly 100 years in one form or another, helping support individuals and associations, and also fighting for the right to be able to grow our own food whilst protecting the land that we grow it on. With this film, we want to celebrate the contribution that allotments make to a sustainable future.
My name's Jasper and this is my allotment. So these are the mini tools. Put some of this water in and mix it.
It's been a great thing for Jasper. He's grown up here from being sort of 3 years old, and I mean, on one level he's got his own plot, he's got his mud kitchen, and he'll play on that, but he's learning about things. And when other kids come down from his school or his friends or his cousins, he'll be like, he can hear him in the distance telling them the things that we've passed on or he's overheard. So in the scheme of the sort of circle of life and that, how things are grown and the importance of being outside, all those things in one place is pretty much what it's been for him.
Don't know what type, but a turnip. It's been eaten by a snail or a slug there.
But because we are a new plot, so 2017 onwards, there is a lot of younger families here. So there's Jasper, you've got George and his parents, you've got a newborn over there. So I think as a sort of new age allotment plot and young families, it's really good to see. And as they grow up here, we're probably going to need a creche or something, but maybe my preconceived ideas have been absolutely blown away, because now we are running the allotments and we are, it is an extended family, I suppose, in that sense. Yeah.
I like to grow fruit, apples, blackcurrants, raspberries, rhubarb, gooseberries, anything you can put in a pie. Yeah.
Actually this weekend to have a bit of a gathering here of allotment plot holders who can bring their friends and family down, and if we've got any spare produce we can share and give away. And so for instance, if I cut the rosemary bush or we've got some spare crops, we just make a sign out of twigs, free and an arrow, and just leave it on the wall and put a shout on the local community Facebook page, and people come down and grab it. I think the more we can share and engage with the community, the better, and we're just at the beginning of the journey.
Current research has confirmed that children have a regular contact with the natural world, the environment, and certainly the soil. Not only do better at school, but then as they get into adulthood, have much more of an appreciation and understanding of the natural world. It's also more likely they'll be excited by the idea of food growing, an understanding of where food comes from.
My name's Hazel Trotman and I have been at this allotment for about 20 years. Until my dad told me 20 years ago that there was an allotment, I didn't even know that there was one around the corner or in anywhere that was as built up as where we are. And it's great that this you've got environments like this that people can just come to or just pop round the corner from their own house, because a lot of people don't have gardens and etc. So it's nice to know that you've got somewhere that you can actually believe is your own little space and do things with nature, and that is what being in the allotment is. I used to use chemicals to get rid of weeds and all things like that, but now I'm probably thinking more, I shouldn't really be using chemicals. Let's see if there's another way. I'm always thinking of there's got to be a better way of doing something. It's a sense of fulfillment. It's a release. It's just a nice way of just coming back to relax. Amazing, a lot of hard work, but it's relaxing, which is great. And it just gives you an inner peace. It just makes you feel relaxed. This is my garden because I have a yard. People went for walks. I came in here and started digging up the earth, so it was great.
Supporting biodiversity is a really important part of allotment holding, whether it's planting flowering plants to encourage beneficial insects, pollinating insects, not just for your own plot, but also for the surrounding environment. The make, do and mend attitude of plot holders is often quite an admirable one. Recycling materials to be used for other things. This blue alkathene pipe, for example, is wonderful for using in cloches and net covers, window frames, things like that make wonderful early starting cold frames. It's really quite admirable to walk round and see where this make, do and mend attitude has really been put to the test. Where sheds or greenhouses are used on allotment plots, it's always worthwhile having the addition of some guttering and some water butts to collect that water runoff. Mains water requires chemical additions, which is not always the best for the environment, and also rainwater is free and much better for the plants. Allotments are a great place to start and really have a go at organic growing, moving away from using pesticides and herbicides, which tend to have very short-term gains but extremely long-term losses for the wider environment. Planting flowering plants amongst your vegetables are really good ways of encouraging predatory insects in, which will help to manage and maintain the pest population without reaching for that chemical bottle. We at the National Allotment Society are really looking forward to welcoming in the young growers of today to carry on this passion and interest in growing fruits and vegetables into the society in the future, and hope we can continue to nurture and grow this love for all things green.